everything about Chad was unique. How he lived and how he died was also unique. I realized that he was like an expert at withholding information. Like, I found out in the release that he had been sick since I known him. It's also a thing where it's like, oh yeah, I can't quit. If he did all of that while he was going through that, this is just grief. So it's like, yeah, we gotta push through.
Aloha, happy Thanksgiving, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jake, and I'm an artist who talks all things movies and TV while I make a rug. In today's video, we're talking Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, the sequel to the groundbreaking 2018 movie that introduced Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa to the world. It's the 11th episode of Tufting Talk, so while I'm breaking things down, I'm going to be making a rug of a Black Panther. Stick around to the end to see how it turns out. First, we'll talk about Chadwick's life, then we'll talk about how Marvel handled his loss, and finally, my overall thoughts on the movie. I'm not going to go over any major spoilers, but if I do, I'll give you a warning. Let's get rugged. Chadwick Aaron Boseman was born on November 29th, 1976 in Anderson, South Carolina. He attended Howard University and then studied at the Oxford Midsummer Acting Program before moving to LA in 2008. He started on television and actually did a fair amount of stage work as well as directing and writing too. He was T'Challa / the Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from 2016 to 2019. He's also known for his starring roles as iconic American legends such as Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, and James Brown. He leaves behind a legacy of beautiful work, both on and off the screen. Chadwick was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016. He battled it for 4 years until it progressed to stage 4. His family said this in a statement: "A true fighter, Chadwick persevered through it all and brought you many of the films you have come to love so much. From Marshall to The Five Bloods, August Wilson's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and several more, all were filmed during and between countless surgeries and chemotherapy. It was the honor of his career to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther. At the age of 43, he died in his home with his wife and family by his side." Before he passed, Chadwick secretly married his longtime girlfriend, Taylor Simone. No one except those really close to him knew that he was sick. He stayed strong and fought for as long as he could, just like T'Challa and many of his other characters would. Even though most people saw Chadwick as this invincible, fictional character, he was a real person, and his death shows just how fragile human life is. His passing also shows us just how many people we can impact while we're here. 2 weeks before his passing, he was handed the script to Black Panther 2 by Ryan Coogler. It showed T'Challa mourning the passing of time as everyone recovered from the blip. He came back to a world he didn't recognize. The writers then turned to making the film about grieving King T'Challa's death as well as Chadwick's. I can't imagine how deeply this experience affected the cast, how intensely lethargic this process was, as well as incredibly healing. Minor spoilers ahead. The movie opens on Shuri frantically trying to figure out a way to save her brother from an unknown illness. He passes suddenly. I mean, I don't even know how these people could say their lines without breaking down, because this movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes, so that's 2 hours and 45 minutes of just intense emotion. Okay, proper spoiler alert. Spoilers are coming. They're coming in a moment, so exit now. Shuri is continuing the journey of the Black Panther. Now, this isn't all surprising because we've heard these rumors swirling since, the movie was announced, but let's be honest here, the fans will never be happy. There's always gonna be somebody or somebodies who's gonna have something to say about it. There was a movement that wanted T'Challa recast, another that wasn't happy with the script, and I'm sure there's many other things to complain about. But at the end of the day, Marvel made a decision, and it seems to be a profitable one because as of today, it's made $500 million worldwide. So, I mean, you can hashtag recast T'Challa all you want, but the numbers, they don't lie. Shuri was the natural choice as she's her younger sister, next in line for the crown. Letitia Wright wouldn't even be in this position without Chadwick. She said that he recommended her for the role, and he said, "I don't want anybody else because that is my sister." She looks sickening in the outfit, so the haters can go. You know who else looks sickening? Lupita. The woman knows how to fill out a costume, honey. And I'm so glad that Okoye got her own suit named Midnight Angel, because I was really hoping that we were going to get a team of Black Panthers instead of just one. My theory was that the main girls, Okoye, Nakia, Shuri, and even Queen Mother, we're all going to become Black Panthers. And that's basically what we got. Shuri is that main bitch. I'm not going to argue, but I'm just saying I like that the recovery of Wakanda is based on coming together and figuring out, girl, how are we going to recover from this? But instead of breaking down, it feels like the whole movie was just one giant hug. Just one giant hug, a lot of love, okay? A lot of love. Some killing, a lot of stabbings, but stabbings with love. The costume design of this movie was just some of the best I've ever seen. From the casual Shuri in the lab wear to the Mexican-inspired Talocans to Shuri's panther suit and the Midnight Angels, they nailed it. If they don't win an Oscar for that, at least then the Academy, you need to do some rearranging, some reorganization. I also loved seeing Shuri's style grow from the first, because she's obviously aged. If you go back and look at the first movie, she looks like a baby. But she has grown up, and it's not necessarily her choice. She was forced to grow up, and it reflects in what she wears. Letitia girl. Letitia, right, Letitia. Wow, girl. I've got my Wakanda Forever cup. Thank you very much. Period. Letitia Wright played this role so incredibly well. She channeled grief, anger, and sadness, and even all three of those emotions at the same time. She made it feel so real because a lot of the emotions she expressed were things she actually felt about the real person behind Black Panther. Hats off to you, girl. I know that Marvel movies don't really get nominated for Oscar situations, but I really think she should win because she did that. That's the only reason you need. The main two newbies were Michaela Cole and Tenoch Huerta, which, ooh, girl, I'm still sweating from seeing, ooh, Lord. Both of them killed it. I mean, I would have liked to see a little bit more action scenes of Michaela's character, but I get it. They're just trying to introduce her into the universe. There's probably going to be a lot more fighting from her in the future. I get it. I've watched Michaela in I May Destroy You, so I know how much depth she can deliver. She's an actress, she's a producer, she's a writer, she's a director. Just talented all around. I'm just glad they gave her a few solid fighting scenes. It wasn't just a cartwheel. She was beating the bitch down. Tenoch as Namor. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Lord, forgive me for I have sinned. Is it hot in here? Whew, because this man gave me hot flashes the entire 2 hours, 45 minutes. In that little swimsuit? They barely fit in the thing. Busting at the seams is what I'd say. Marvel even had to tone down the heat because he's just packing too much heat. They definitely edited the bulge to be smaller than it actually is. I don't know why. You know, you're already putting him in an underwear swimsuit situation, so just show nature. Although there was definitely one shot that they didn't edit out. Thank you very much, Marvel. Thank you. And I definitely noticed it in the theater. I was like, girl, where my binoculars at? Not only was his character intensely developed compared to many other mediocre villains, but he embodied Kukulkan. Yeah, did you like how I said that? Culture. There was a clear motivation behind why he wanted to destroy the world, because honestly, the world turned their backs on him and his people, and there's a reason that they retreated to the ocean. There was never a point in the movie where that motivation felt trivial or felt like, why is he going through all this effort? Now, his character made a lot of mistakes, okay? Mainly, you know, that big death. He's doing what he thinks is best for his people. So even though he's a little misguided, he is built on a solid foundation, which is something I really appreciate that Ryan Coogler did. He spent so much time in those underwear, in the water, so the scrunchy pruniness got to his brain a little bit after so many years, and it makes him think, let's kill everybody. Let's kill them. Why not? We're powerful, so let's keep the power. And finally, 2 words. Angela Bassett. Queen Ramonda. Need I say more? This bitch knows exactly what she's doing. She knows her craft. She appreciates her craft. She becomes the character. Queen Ramonda is really the glue that is holding this country together. Let's be honest. Her headdresses, they're a symbol of a nation. And then to reveal her gray wig underneath, long hair, luscious, Garnier Fructis. In fact, she's marvelous. And you know what? She seems like a good person. I don't know her, but she seems sincere. She seems caring, kind, generous. Maybe I could have changed my last name to Bassett. Who knows? I don't know, Jake Bassett. Oh no, that sounds too much like Jake Bassett. Okay, never mind. But love you, girl. Final thoughts. I really enjoyed this movie. To say that I had high expectations would be accurate, because how do you follow something so historic like that up? Especially when you see all the damage that he did in Infinity War. The bitch just flips and trips and tumbles and tosses, and he is one of the most agile superheroes. And that's something also that I loved about him. Yes, he was gifted incredible superhuman strength and all this in a suit, but the guy is a trained fighter. He was raised to be a warrior. He was raised to carry on the family line, and that's part of why I love his character so much, is that there's so much depth. And now moving on to Shuri feels like a fully formed person. She's gone through so much. I mean, she's lost her whole family, and now she's got to find a way at probably like 22, 23, find a way to live her life, rebuild an entire nation on the heels of a crumbling multiverse situation. It's just, there's a lot on Shuri's shoulders. So the fact that the bitch can even stand up is a miracle. Okay, but that suit, it's really something. I need to get a thesaurus so I can find new adjectives to use to describe this movie, because it was just so good. Ruth E. Carter, not only did she have to develop costumes for all the main characters that would be on screen quite a bit, she had to develop a style for all the background actors, everybody else, and a whole other civilization that's being introduced, the people of Telecom. I hope she got a good check from this, because after this I would need about a 5-year break. Don't ask me to design a single thing. Don't ask me to even work on Black Panther 2. I don't care when it's coming out. Apparently there is going to be a Black Panther 3. That's what I meant to say. I don't know when. I think 4 or 5 years. Because I heard a little rumor on Twitter the other day, which is pretty well substantiated, that Namor is getting his own show in 4 years. Now, do you think the girls and the gays have 4 years to wait to see Tenoch in that little green slip panty? No, we can't wait for that. I think we can work quicker than that. Marvel, tell you what, how about we look at that slate again, take a couple of things that we don't really need off, a couple of accessories, and slip him right in there. You know, you want to keep the interest high, because it seems like he's a crowd favorite. So he's most likely been promoted, and he's going to be involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a much bigger way than he might have been before. Listen, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't work there. Ruth E. Carter, just hats off to you. And if you don't win an Oscar either, I'm going to be writing a very strongly worded letter to the Academy. I wish I was in the Academy. Why can't I be in the Academy? I've got a lot of things to say. I love movies. I've analyzed movies. I appreciate movies. I give money to movies. How do I apply? I think you have to get nominated, huh? Ooh, I gotta make some powerful friends. Maybe I can find a sugar daddy in the Academy and get me into the Academy so I can vote Letitia and Ruth to win an Oscar next year. After a really, really shaky Phase 4, Marvel closed it out really nicely, despite the loss of the major character of the story. I fell in love with Black Panther in 2018 because of his story, being the protector of his country, something that's passed down from generation to generation, something that connects to the origin of Wakanda. Without Bast, without the heart-shaped herb, without all that the Black Panther stands for, there would be no Wakanda. This film is a tribute to Chadwick and his legacy. It creates a path to moving forward, not moving on. How to move forward after a loss, and how the MCU is going to move forward from here. Details hidden in the film, like in the music composed by Ludwig Göransson. That care and those small details combined with the intention behind the entire cast's performances are what make this movie a fantastic finale to Marvel's Phase 4. Am I nervous to see where Phase 5 takes us? Yes. Because truly the two movies that make this entire phase are Shang-Chi and now Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Before we go, I need to discuss something real quick, because these fucking haters are coming out of the woodworks, and it's not just, you know, Gina Mary Karen on Twitter, it's some people we know in the industry. Apparently some bitter, very talented directors always have something negative to say about Marvel movies. Just stay in your lane. Okay, Martin Scorsese, you are a legend, alright? Nobody needs to tell you that. Nobody needs to remind you of that. Same with you, Quentin Tarantino. But the fact that you've got all these words to say about movies who seem to bring quite the crowd is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Once upon a time in Hollywood. $377 million worldwide. Black Panther Wakanda Forever hasn't even been out 2 weeks, and it has grossed $500 million internationally. Money is not everything. Numbers are not everything. Yes, they are dependent on future projects getting greenlit, and if this character is interesting enough, we can't just compare on numbers. But data is data, and data doesn't lie. Now, if you want to take a look at Martin Scorsese's latest project, which is probably a movie about mafia that's 3 hours, 45 minutes long, I don't know. Let's look it up. Okay, talk about hit the nail on the head. Yes, his last major project was The Irishman, which was direct to Netflix. It is 3 hours and 29 minutes long, so we have no real way of measuring that success, although it was nominated for a ton of things. I think it might have won something. It's interesting because it's one thing to come at something that didn't do very well, that people didn't really enjoy, that's very evident by the numbers at the box office, but it's an entirely different thing when you come after something, this huge franchise cultural phenomenon that it's become over the last 10 years, that actually does well. It draws numbers, it keeps people invested, it keeps people coming back, not only to the movie theater, but also to the small screen, where they develop storylines that suck people further into the universe so that they can do well at the box office. Now I'm confused, but to me that seems like a smart business plan. So it's interesting that these film legends discredit these movies as if they have no merit, as if they have no art value, as if they have no cinematic value. And if they're coming for the director of photography, okay, it's not always great. But the two all-stars of this phase, the cinematography was phenomenal. The stunts were phenomenal. The casting was phenomenal. The development of the characters, the cultural representation. I'm just confused as to why these two white men are coming after a studio who is helping people feel seen on the big screen. Because as far as I know, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was driven and led by a cast of white people. And if I'm not mistaken, the Irish, they're white. And Italians, they're white. I don't see them doing anything for representation, I'm just saying. They are representing a very specific part of the population. If you are a mob boss in New York, you are being represented. You feel seen. Then there's always the argument of, well, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was set in Hollywood's golden age, 1969 Los Angeles. So it was a lot of white people, so there wasn't a lot of representation. Okay, yes, I get it. But we've seen time and time again, we can rewrite history because this is what? Fiction. It's not a documentary. It's imagination. It's creativity. It's art. So even though people of color weren't represented at the time, does not mean you can't just make some characters up in 2022. Put them in your movie, call it a day. Listen, if what I'm saying is controversial, then it's controversial. But I have some opinions and I'm not afraid to state them because this is ridiculous. I'm tired of this. I am tired of nose to the sky cinematic professionals coming out and saying that Marvel movies are trash. Do they make mistakes? Yeah. But so do your movies. 3 hours and 29 minutes. I'm sorry. Was it that good? Maybe it was. Okay? I didn't see it. And I'm fessing up to that. I didn't see it. I'm not going to sit through that. It's not my type of film. If you want to go and look up exactly what these two directors said, you go and do that on your own time. I'm not even going to read it. Nope. Oh, excuse me. Cornbread delivery girl. Cornbread. Oh my gosh. Shove it in my hole. Oh, that fucking does it to me. All right, let's read some tweets from one of the hottest men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Mr. Simu Liu. Simu, you keep on posting these thirst traps, and I have to stay off of social media. Yeah, because I don't have asthma. But if I see another shirtless picture of you, I might develop asthma. I might need an inhaler because I can't. Every time I see it, it's like that. I feel shallow breaths, and I feel like I can't hardly breathe because you just take my breath away. He said, if the only gatekeepers to movie stardom came from Tarantino and Scorsese, I would never have had the opportunity to lead a $400 million plus movie. I am in awe of their filmmaking genius. They are transcendent auteurs, but they don't get to point their nose at me or anyone. That's what I'm saying, Simu. That's what I'm saying. No movie studio is or ever will be perfect, but I'm proud to work with one that has made sustained efforts to improve diversity on screen by creating heroes that empower and inspire people of all communities everywhere. I loved the Golden Age too, but it was wide as hell. Listen, did he read my mind or something? Are we connected? You know, wow, we are really on the same page. Those are my thoughts on that. I'm tired of it. And you know who else is tired too? Martin and Quentin. He takes about 20 years to come out with a movie. I'm not shading you too heavily, but I'm shading you a little bit. No, a good amount, a moderate amount. Because guess what? They're probably not going to see this. And if they did, they probably wouldn't care because they're sitting on a lot of money and a lot of success. So what does my little opinion mean? Nothing to them, but it means something to me, and hopefully whoever's watching this can relate and appreciate this opinion. Because no matter what you say, Marvel has changed the cinematic landscape. You just better hope that people turn out to your next movie with an all-white cast about an all-white story. Because it's clear people like diversity. People like learning about cultures that are different from their own. We can even bring up the example of Miss Bailey being Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Oh Lord, what an uproar that was. The moms for whites really came out against that one. Ariel, she's not real. She's fictional. She's completely made up. Does it matter what color she is? No. She is a fish person from the ocean who sells her voice to a sea drag queen that gives her legs so she can woo her love interest, who she's really only seen a couple of times. She thought, oh, damn, he thought I need to get on that sand and get to him. And she does. So who cares what the fuck color she is? The white outrage. It's just gonna continue. It's just gonna continue. What we see on screen should reflect the world we see in reality. Unless you're a mermaid. Oh God, so ridiculous. It's like, why are you getting mad at that? There's a lot of other things that you could get mad about, trust me. There's a lot of things that piss me off every single day of my life. But that, not one of them. And that's what I have to say on that. Do I need to give this movie a rating? No, but I'm gonna give it one anyway. 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would buy it on Blu-ray. That's how much I enjoyed it. You're never going to be able to satisfy everyone. Someone's always going to have something to say about it. Should they have recast T'Challa? I don't know. They didn't, so it doesn't even matter. Shuri is the Black Panther. We're moving on, and that's it. Get over it or get out of it. Grab some vibranium and hold onto your seats, because it's time for the rug reveal. I'm pretty proud of this rug. I feel like it came out really good. It's an interpretation of a Black Panther. Is it the Black Panther? No, but it is art. It's art. Pop. ARTPOP. If you want to see this rug come to life with augmented reality, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at WildJakey and at Cinerugs. I felt like this video was a solid Thanksgiving video since this movie was about family. About being grateful for what you have and for what you've lost. Make sure to take just a few minutes out of your day to sit down and think about what you're grateful for. The world is a shit show right now, but there are still things about life that we can love, cherish, and enjoy. And it's important to take stock of the things that make life worth living. Wow, inspirational. I also tried out this new low carving technique thanks to my friend Steven. You should check out his Instagram where he's got some really cool pull-apart rugs. If you enjoyed this video, I've got your next watch right over there. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Jake, and I'll see you next time. Wakanda forever.